Welcome to the Zeriss Institute, and my name is Walt Hennessee, and I'm the owner and the qualifying broker for Zeriss Realty here in Madison, Alabama. And what we're going to be talking about is why would you want to have a realtor involved when you're buying a home? Well, in Alabama, that's especially important because we're what's called a buyer beware state. When you buy a house in Alabama, not a new house, but if you buy an existing home in Alabama, you have to discover everything when it comes to the condition of that property. The seller is under no obligation to disclose what the condition of the property is. And the way you find that out is through a home inspection. But the reason that you want to get a good experienced real estate agent involved is because the buying process and negotiating the purchase of a property is complicated, and real estate agents have spent a lot of time and money going through being educated and have a lot of experience in these transactions. Whereas if you want to put a sign out in your front yard that says for sale by owner, then that's won't get the kind of market exposure that you want. For buyers, you can enter into what's called a buyer agency agreement, and that will pretty well lock you in with that real estate agent. His job, his fiduciary duty to you, is to find that perfect house. And so when you find that perfect house, he has all the paperwork that's set up for you to make an offer, negotiate that offer for you. He knows all the steps of the process when it comes to the home inspections, when it comes to the escrow account, when it comes to everything that goes along with the purchase of a house. He'll make that process a lot easier for you. And one of the important things is that in Alabama, the seller pays the buyer's agent's commission, so that it doesn't cost you anything as a home buyer to go hire a real estate agent to represent you in the purchase of the house, and it will save you a lot of problems that can crop up along the way if you don't have a real estate agent by your side through all of the process. So the first advantage is it's free. You get that information and that representation because it doesn't cost you anything. The second thing is you guarantee that you're going to be going through the process seamlessly. You're not going to have any hiccups along the way. If you do have a hiccup, then that's where the real estate agent steps in, and he knows how to solve those kind of problems if they're solvable. So there's really no reason not to have a real estate agent represent you. Also, he has access to all the properties out there. So let's say you're looking for a specific house in a specific area that's a specific style, then he can pull those up for you. He or she will drive you around to the houses that you pick out, saying, I want to look at these houses. He will also, as you go through the houses, explain the process of how you look at a house, like what might indicate a structural problem, what might indicate a termite problem. So that's the kind of knowledge that you carry with you when you hire an agent to represent you as a home buyer. Also, as I mentioned earlier, he has a fiduciary duty to you. He has to negotiate on your behalf. He also has some other duties that have to do with being upfront and honest and confidential with all the information that you give him that's confidential. If you don't know of a mortgage company, they have a good list of mortgage companies that they work with all the time. They can tell you which ones I've had trouble with, which ones I haven't, so they can save you that process. So there's really no reason not to have a real estate agent to go with you through the process, because as I mentioned earlier, by being a buyer beware state, when you go to, let's say, an open house, and the agent that's sitting in that house, they're represented by a company, let's say XYZ company, and if you say, I would like to put an offer in on this property, they will say, oh, that's great, I'll be more than happy to help you put an offer in on this property and see if we can turn it into a contract. But what you're doing is that agent that's sitting that open house, their fiduciary duty is to the seller, okay? So that their job is to get the best deal they can for the seller at the expense of the buyer. Okay, let me say that again. When you call the agent's name has a sign out in front of the house, you're actually calling somebody that has a fiduciary duty to make sure that the seller gets the best deal out of the negotiating process. So what you need is an agent representing you that has your interest in mind, and that's called a buyer's agent. And they would love to walk you through the process of purchasing that home that that's been your dream home forever. So, and they can also make certain recommendations for you when it comes to the seamless transfer of, let's say, utilities, of newspaper subscriptions. No, they will go through all that process with you. So it's going to be a painless process of purchasing the house. Whereas if you don't use a real estate agent, you're pretty well on your own, and you're at the mercy of, if the house is listed, of the seller's agent. So that's a little bit about why you want to have a real estate agent by your side when you're going out looking for houses. And the biggest thing is it doesn't cost you anything. So thanks for watching today, and we appreciate it.